State Showcase. I know how very, very busy this time of year is, not only for my kids and all of their activities, but also for all the families. And I appreciate the time that you're taking to come out and support these kids. This night's activity, we started 8 years ago, and I do it for a couple of reasons. The first one is to actually showcase these state events and the talent that these kids have, and to reward them for all of their hard work that they've done all year. But also I use this as a coaching tool, which allows me to videotape them. Some of the events you'll see tonight haven't been out for a while. And in order to keep them fresh, I don't want them to overdo their pieces. So by letting them use this tonight as a warm-up, then I can videotape it and we can use it to watch what we like and what we don't like and get them ready for state, which will be in 2 weeks at Wichita East on May 1st. So tonight you're going to see a variety of things, from prose and poetry readings to we'll do some acting events, and we also have some speeches for you tonight. Our first performer is Spencer Roy, and Spencer is a junior, and this is his first year in forensics, and he has qualified his prose selection. So, Spencer?
No, I think you're good.
Yeah.
Yo, down here, under the bed, it's me, the Boogeyman.
Celebrities, even politicians, will attest to the fact that even one bad news article can give a person a bad name. It isn't fair, and everyone should have the right to defend themselves. In the following selection, a very famous person gets that chance. It's me, the Boogeyman, by Robert Burns.
Yeah, you heard me, Sparky.
It's the genuine, creepy crawly, blood-chilling, spine-tingling, can't avoid the urge to grab your ankle when you're climbing the sack, boogie guy. And the news doesn't get any better, but some stoops pure gravel-chewing mad. Oh, quit your shivering skeezicks. It isn't you who's got me fuming. Here, just take a look at this morning's headline. The National Squealer. The evil boogeyman bellows boo. The Boy Scouts go berserk. The boogeyman will get you if you don't watch out. It's a lie, I tell you. That lummox isn't me. I don't go clumping after campers like some bumbling, stumbling Frankenstein. And even if I did, I'd never stop to pose for pictures. I'd lose my job, Jake. Check it out. It's all right here on page 3 of my official boogeyman contract. The official boogeyman contract. The boogeyman's identity must be protected at all costs. No one must ever gaze upon your face. Or, heaven forbid, take your picture, and then perish the thought. Printed on the tabloids. If any of these calamities should occur, we, the management, regret to inform you that your services as the boogeyman will no longer be required.
There. See? You've got to help me clear my name. Fraud is a fake. A fib. A fraud! And here's another newsflash, Filbert. The boogeyman doesn't say boo. Boo's a baby word, Bubby. It rhymes with Toodaloo and Winnie the Pooh, and it comes right after Pika, right before the boo. And okay, maybe if you scream it really loud in a football game, it might mean the ref made a bad call. But no matter how you shout it, boo just ain't scary, Skippy. Want to know a scary word? I'll give you 5 of them. Go get ready for bed. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Especially if it's a dark and stormy night, and your PJs are in the closet, all the way in the back. And oh, dearie me, your light bulb burned out last night. But you fight your fears and head upstairs. Then you stop at the top and you peer into the pitch black darkness of your room. You'd have to be insane to go in there. Am I right, Dwight? But suddenly your dim-witted feet rush you right across the rug and deposit you slap dab in front of your closet door, which swings open all by itself. That's all
Newsflash number 3. I don't bellow. Why? I rarely even raise my voice. I'm a professional, Peppy. Which is why my little whippersnapper, on that dark moonless night last August when dear old Dad left you all alone in your big backyard looking for the Little Dipper, you heard just the faintest of sounds as I sneaked up behind you on marshmallow feet and fluttered my eyelashes close to your ear. That's when you sensed that you weren't alone. The hairs on your neck try to stand and run as your knocking, rocking legs turn into jam jelly. And seriously, Seymour, don't you just hate it when it happens? Newsflash number 4. The boogeyman does not get ya. What does that even mean, get ya? If I got ya, what would I do with ya? Where would I put ya? And what would I feed ya? My job is to scare ya. I don't want to raise ya. So enough already with the get ya garbage. I'm not evil, Alvin. In fact, I'm not that different from you. I gobble up chicken fingers and I gulp down gummy bears, and after eating, I almost always floss my tooth before slipping under someone's bed to catch a few Z's. Which is exactly what I'm about to do now. All this bellyache has got me beat. Besides, I'm off duty and my cloak is at the cleaners. So start spreading the word that this headline is hogwash. Oh yeah. Kindly keep your smelly sweat socks off the floor. I'm allergic, okay? Just one whiff of those things and I'm out of here, dude. Start gasping and wheezing and choking and sneezing. And plus I break out in itches, splotchy blue blotches. So like I said, just keep them... Whoa. Whoa! Whoa! Hold on a second, Sherlock. You're not taking off those socks now, are you? You are? But I thought we were pals. Hey, stop waving them around. What's gotten into you anyway? Wait, knock it off. Not all those. I'm gone. Psst. Yo, down here under the bed. It's me, the boogeyman.
This year. She went state last year, and she was also a national qualifier last year. Went with her oral declamation. This year, Kylan has qualified her informative speech, which you will hear this evening.
Hold on, just one second. Let's see. I have my four-leaf clover. I'm wearing my birthstone. My clothes are inside out, and I have my lucky penny. Now, where's that rabbit's foot? Sorry, I'm just a little bit nervous for my speech, so I was trying to give myself a tad bit of good luck. Or maybe a lot. Luck is a powerful essence. We have all at one time in our life declared whether we have had bad luck or if we have had good luck. But what exactly is luck? Today we are going to take a closer look at the concept of luck. We will see how luck is defined, how superstitions connect to luck, and how we can change our luck. Let's begin by looking at how luck is defined. We must first realize that good luck to one person can be bad luck to another. Like if you got in a terrible car accident. You could be saying, wow, I'm really lucky to be alive. Or, great, my car's totaled, now how am I going to get to work? Luck has three basic senses. One is being blessed with luck, such as, I'm really lucky that tornado missed my house. This is meaning that somebody, somewhere, is allowing you to have good luck. Another meaning, or sense, is having good luck, such as, this is my lucky day. This doesn't necessarily mean that you deserved it, or that it was granted to you, but that it just is. And the last meaning is bringing in your own good luck. My rabbit's foot, for example. Some people even shave their head or wear their lucky underwear. Alexander Zane is a corporate behavior therapist. He says that luck is external and unstable. It has uncontrollable causes. He also says that many people can mistake luck for chance. Chance is know the possibility of an outcome. Say you buy a lottery ticket. You know that you could win $5,000, $200, or like normal people, just be wasting $3 to $5. Luck has a lot to do with chance. Meeting the director of a huge company is not due to luck, but due to chance. You took the possibility to go and meet your new boss, and it paid off. Now let's move on and look at how superstitions connect to luck. Many people believe very strongly in superstitions. Superstitions revolve around a belief, practice, right maintained by nature, or simply faith in magic or chance. Many people believe that the superstitions arise from a force of nature. A major good luck superstition is the 4-leaf clover. Most of the time, we find clovers containing only 3 leaves. Each leaf stands for something different. 1 is for hope, 2 is for faith, and 3 is for love. Rarely, we can find a clover containing the 4th leaf, standing for love. Some other good luck superstitions are finding the heads-up penny, hanging a horse's shoe above your door, singing, waking up at the same exact time that you were born. A major bad luck superstition is the black cat. Back in medieval times, witches were hunted and killed for their practice, so they hid underground. They turned themselves into black cats to get around. When people caught on, they said that if you didn't kill the cat that crossed your path, you would have bad luck for the rest of your life. Some other bad luck superstitions are break a mirror, 5 years of bad luck. Walk under a ladder, there's 10. Singing and sleeping at a table is a big no-no. And if you refuse a kiss under the mistletoe, don't ever worry about being kissed again. You can simply get rid of these bad luck superstitions by turning yourself in a circle clockwise 7 times. Sorry. Finally, let's move on and look at how we can change our luck. Richard Wiseman is head of a psychology department at a university in England. For the last 8 years, him and his colleagues have studied why some people are lucky and other people are not so lucky. After thousands of interviews and hundreds of experiments, he says he has finally cracked the code. Wiseman has 3 basic lessons. 1 is to be more polished in what you do. 2 is expect good fortune, and 3 is to be open to possibilities. But why are some people more open to possibilities than others? It is not due to dumb luck. It is due to them being aware of what's going on around them. Another way that we can change our luck is by being an optimistic person instead of a pessimist. An optimistic person is somebody who looks at the good in everything, while a pessimistic person only looks for the bad. So simply, be an optimistic person, or take Richard Wiseman's advice. If you want to win a game of chance, and your game is lottery, some of Bill Lockhart's tips are to be slightly better at what you do. Pick numbers that aren't often picked if you're a lottery player. Don't pick 7 and 11 because they are considered lucky numbers, and everybody picks them. Don't pick numbers 1 through 31. Many people pick them because they are the day of the month. If your game is poker, then don't play when you're in a bad mood. Don't bluff just for bluffing's sake. And you probably shouldn't play drunk. Today, you guys know the concept of luck. You now know how luck is defined, how superstitions connect to luck, and how we can change our luck. And lucky for you guys, you got to hear my speech. And lucky for me, I had you guys as a great audience. Would you like to borrow my rabbit's foot? Thank you.
Okay, our next performer is Lydia Swisher, and Lydia is a freshman this year. She's qualified 2 events. She also has her informative going to state course this year, and you will see tonight her humorous solo.
Keeping a secret can be hard, even for the world's best spy. This is seen as Junie B. Jones encounters some sticky situations in trying to keep her lips sealed in Junie B. Jones and Some Sneaky Peeky Spying by Barbara Parks.
My real-life teacher named Mrs. was at the grocery store. Mrs. didn't see me
how Mother told me, Junie B, no more spying. And so maybe I might get in trouble with her, I think. That's how come I stopped running. And I started to go back to peek at Mrs. Seymour, but Mother already spotted me. Junie B, where are you going? Come here. Yeah, only I just remembered something very important, and it's called, I'm not done drinking yet. Then I run right back to the water fountain. Only Mrs. and the strange man were already disappeared. Shoot, where did those sneaky Pete's go? After that, I had to look all over the store for those guys. First I looked where the chocolate milk was. Then I looked where the biscotti and tomato sauce was. And I also looked where the delicious candy was. Only guess where I finally found him? At the stinky, dumb vegetables. That's where. I quick ducked down and hid around the corner. I saw Mrs. picking out yucky, blucky broccoli and stewy, pewy tomatoes, and also a kind of vegetable named zucchini. Except for then the strange man snatched zucchini right out of her hands, and he tried to put it back on the shelf. Except for then Mrs. grabbed it right back again, and she tried to hit him on the head with it. And then they both started laughing very much. Then I saw Mrs. standing in the grapes. She picked up a bunch of the green kind. She picked some off the top, and that's when the most terriblest thing of all happened, because just then Mrs. put the grapes in her mouth, and she ate them. Mrs. ate the grapes, and she didn't even pay for them. Oh no, oh no, oh no, because eating is the same thing as stealing, and teachers aren't supposed to do stealing. Teachers are supposed to be perfecter than that, because they have to set a good example for little children. After that, I felt very sickish inside my stomach, on account of Mrs. didn't even get caught and learn her lesson. Because nobody saw what she did. Not the store guy, not the strange man. Nobody. Nobody except for me. I didn't tattletale on Mrs. That's because if I told Mother, I would get in trouble for spying. And if I told the store guy, Mrs. might go to jail. So I just kept it a secret inside my head, because nobody can see secrets inside your head. Not even if they look in your ears. So even on the bus to school next day, my lips still stayed squeezed. Until I saw my bestest friend, Grace. Hi, Junie B. I did a wave at her. How come you're not saying hi? You have to say hi. It's the rules. Except for I still didn't say hi. And then that Grace called me the name of Big Stinky. And then when we got to school, Grace and Lucille played horses all by themselves, and not me. That's how come I finally had to shout something very loud at them. I've got a secret, ha 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 ha. That Grace put her hands on her hips. So, we don't care, do we, Lucille? Except for then, Lucille ran over to me speedy quick, because she cared, that's why. If you tell me your secret, Junie B, I'll be your best friend. Yeah, only I can't, Lucille, because if I tell you, Mrs. might get in big trouble. So that's how come I have to keep it inside my head. Lucille did a frown at me. My brother said it's not good to keep secrets inside your head, Junie B. It makes pressure in there. And pretty soon, your head blows up. My eyes got very big at her. Oh no! Then I holded my head real tight with my hands, and I run my very fastest all the way to the nurse's office. Because she has Band-Aids to hold your head together, I think. My head's gonna blow! My head's gonna blow! Nurse jumped over her desk. What's wrong, Junie B? Do you have a bad headache? No, I have a bad secret. It's about Mrs. Only I can't tell anybody, and now there's pressure in my head, and pretty soon it's gonna explode. Nurse told me to calm down. And then she put a Band-Aid on my head. And then we went to principal's office. Principal is the boss of this school. Me and him know each other very good. That's because I keep on getting sit down there. And so now I'm not even afraid of that guy. afternoon, Junie B. What's the trouble today?
Good afternoon. My head's gonna blow!
And why do you think that?
Cause I got a secret in there, that's why.
Well, maybe if you tell me your secret, I can help you.
Yeah, only I can't talk.
But I thought you and I were pals.
We are pals. I'm not even afraid of you.
Good, that's good. Then why don't you tell me what's bothering you?
That's when I did a very huffy breath at him. Cause the guy wasn't listening to me, of course. Yeah, only I already said I can't talk. Remember that? Cause if I talk, I might accidentally tell you that I saw Mrs. steal some grapes in the grocery store and then she might get in trouble, she might go to jail. So that's at the end. Then I squeeze my lips together real tight, or else my secret might slip out. Only guess what? I think it already did.
The performer is Mr. Keith Allen. Keith is a senior this year and went second year qualified for state. He's worked real hard on this piece trying to get it qualified, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's a prose piece, so.
Many times, when a story is retold, the names are changed and events are exaggerated. But sometimes not. The reality of war must be told truthfully and even graphically in order to keep it real. The following selection entitled, How to Tell a True War Story, is taken from the book The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. This is true. I had a buddy in Vietnam. His name was Bob Kylan, but everybody called him Rat. And a friend of his gets killed. And about a week later, Rat sits down and writes a long personal letter to the guy's sister. He tells her what a great brother she had, how together the guy was, a #1 pal comrade, a real soldier, Rat says. And then he tells a few stories to make the point. Like, how her brother would always volunteer for stuff that no one would volunteer for in a million years. Like going on these crazy night patrols. The guy was a little crazy for sure, but crazy in a good way. He liked testing himself. Just man against gook. A great guy, Rat says. Anyway, it's a terrific letter. Really personal and touching. I mean, Rat almost bawls writing it. He gets all teary telling about the good times they had together. How her brother made the war seem almost fun. Always raising hell and lighting up villas. And he had probably the greatest sense of humor too. Like the time at this river. He went fishing with an entire crate of hand grenades. Probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. All those dead gook fish, all that gore. He was pretty nutso sometimes. But you could trust him with your life. And then, the letter gets really sad and serious. Rat pours his heart out. He says the guy was his best friend in the entire world. They were like soulmates, he says. Like twins or something. And they had so much in common. And he tells the guy's sister that he'll look her up when the war is over. Guess what happens? Rat mails a letter and waits 2 months. The dumb coos never writes him back. You can tell a true war story. You can tell a true war story because it doesn't instruct nor encourage virtue, nor does it restrain men from doing things that men have always done. And at the end of a war story, you feel uplifted, or as though some small bit of rectitude has been salvaged from the larger waste, then you have been made a victim of a very old and terrible lie. There is no rectitude whatsoever. There is no virtue. As a first rule of thumb, you can tell a true war story by its absolute and uncompromising allegiance to obscenity and evil. Just listen to Rat. Coos, he says. He doesn't say woman and he doesn't say girl. He says coos and then spits and stares. Because he's 19 years old, and this is way too much for him. And he looks at you with those big, sad, gentle killer eyes and says coos. Because his best friend is dead. And because it's so incredibly sad and true. She never wrote that. The dead guy's name was Kurt Lemon. We crossed the river and rushed west into the mountains. And on the 3rd day, Kurt stepped on a booby-trapped 105 round. He was playing catch with Rat. He was laughing. we came across this baby BC water buffalo. What it was doing there, we had no idea. But we chased it down and got a rope around its neck and led it along to a deserted village where we set up for the night. After supper, I went over and stroked its nose. Tried to give it Tennessee rations, but the baby buffalo wasn't interested. Then Rat shrugged, stepped back, and shot it through the right front knee. The animal fell hard but didn't make a sound, and somehow it got back up again. Rat took careful aim and shot off an ear. He shot it in the hindquarters and a little hump in its back. This wasn't to kill. This was to hurt. He put the rifle muzzle up against the mouth and shot the mouth away. And then he bent it in the nose, bent down and shot it in the nose, and he whispered something. Almost like he was talking to a pet. And then he shot it in the throat, and that whole time, that buffalo was silent. Or almost silent. Just a light bubbling noise where the nose had been. It lay so still and nothing moved except the eyes. The pupils, shiny black and dumb. Rat was crying and he tried to say something, then cradled his rifle and went off by himself. The rest of us just stood in a ragged circle around the buffalo. For a time, no one spoke. We had witnessed something essential. Something brand new and profound. A piece of the world so startling there was not yet a name for it. Amazing, Dave Jensen says. My whole life, I've never seen anything like it. Mitchell Sanders picks up the baby buffalo and hauls it across the open square to dump it in the village well. And then he takes out his yo-yo and says, "Oh, that's Nam, man. Garden of Evil over here. You can tell a true war story if it embarrasses you. If you don't care for obscenity, you don't care for truth. And if you don't care for truth, watch how you vote. Send a guy to war and they come home talking dirty. Just listen to Rat. Jeez, man, I write this beautiful freaking letter and I slave over it. And what happens? The dumb goose never writes back." Thanks.
Clark is on your schedule next. She was homesick all day with the flu, and so we're going to let Caleb do his poetry for you tonight. Huh? I'm letting him do it, Jen. Caleb is a senior this year. This is his third year for qualifying for state. He actually has 4 of them qualified for state, but the state allows us only to bring 2. So he's going to take his poetry and his duet that you'll see later on this evening. See the poetry. I'll tell them more about their duet stuff later.
Fat black bucks in a wine barrel room. Barrel house kings with feet unstable sagged and reeled and pounded on the table, beat an empty barrel with the handle of a broom, hard as they were able, boom, 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 with a silk umbrella and the handle of a broom. Boom lay, boom lay, boom lay, boom. The following selection is a powerful piece of true poetry. Rhyme, rhythm, and meaning all combine to tell the tale of a magical yet mysterious place and all that inhabit it, in the Congo by Vachel Lindsay. Well, then I actually had a religion. Back then, I had this vision. I couldn't turn from their revel and derision, but then I saw the Congo, creeping through the black, cutting through the forest with a golden track. Then, along that riverbank, 1,000 miles, tattooed cannibals danced in files. Then, I heard the boom of the bloodlust song and a thigh bone beating on a tin-pan gong. That blood! Screamed the whistles and the fifes of the warriors. Blood! Screamed the skull-faced, lean witch doctors. Will ye the deadly voodoo rattle, harry the uplands, steal all the cattle, rattle, 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 bing! gory, epic ragtime tune from the mouth of the Congo to the very mountains of the moon. Death is an elephant, torch-eyed and horrible, foam-flanked and terrible. Boom, steal the pygmies. Boom, kill the Arabs. Boom, kill the white man. Who? Listen to the creepy proclamation. Be careful of what you do, or Mambo Jumbo will hoodoo you. Mambo Jumbo will hoodoo you. Then I saw the Congo creeping through the black, cutting through the forest with a golden track. And the crowd in the court gave a whoop and a call, and they danced the juba from wall to wall. But the witchman suddenly stilled the throng with a stern, cold glare and a stern old song. Mambo Jumbo will hoodoo you. Walk with care, Mambo Jumbo. God of the Congo, and all of the other gods of the Congo, Mambo Jumbo will hoodoo you. Beware, walk with care. Boom lay, boom lay, boom lay, boom. A good old Negro in the slums of the town preached at a sister for wearing a velvet gown. He howled at a brother for his low-down ways, his prowling, guzzling, sneak thief days. He beat on that Bible till he wore it out. Started the Jubilee revival shout, and they all sang of Jacob and the golden stairs, and they all repented 1,000 strong from their stupor and savagery and sin and wrong. Swam with their hymn books till they shook the room with glory, 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 and boom, boom, boom. But then I saw the Congo creeping through the black, cutting through the forest with a golden track. Mambo Jumbo will die in the jungle. Never again will he hoodoo you. Then, along that river, 1,000 miles, the vine-snared trees all fell down in files. 'Twas a land transfigured. 'Twas a new creation, and a singing wind swept through that Negro nation and on through the backwoods, clearing flew. Mambo Jumbo is dead in the jungle. Never again will he hoodoo you. Redeemed were the forests, the beasts, and the men, but only the vulture ever dared again by that far lone mountain of the moon to cry in the silence the Congo tune. Mambo Jumbo will hoodoo you. Mambo Jumbo will hoodoo you. Mambo Jumbo will hoodoo you.
Next performer is Miss Ellie Davis. Ellie is a junior this year. She is a third-year forensic student and has qualified for state all 3 years. She was also a national qualifier last year. This year she has 2 events qualified for state. One of them is her poetry, and the one that you will see tonight is her serious solo.
The nights are hard. The days are even harder. One of my duties on the day shift is to dismiss soldiers who are ready to be sent back home to hospitals in the U.S. The other day, it was this 21-year-old whose nose and half of his face had been blown away and replaced by patchwork grass. The morning of his release, I found him crying in bed. What's wrong? I want to die. God, if I can't die, at least don't send me home, not looking like this. him that everything would be okay, that plastic surgery could work wonders. But I didn't know that. Not for sure. I was raised to believe that freedom, democracy, our very way of life was worth protecting at any cost. Well, the price, I've been learning, can be very high. Winnie Smith came from a long line of heroes, dating all the way back to the Civil War, when her grandfather fought for the Confederacy. So when she joined the Army as a nurse in 1965, she was full of pride, both for her country and her family. But when she was sent to Vietnam, she was forced to face the brutal reality of war and the adjustments that must be made after. An American Daughter Gone to War by Winnie Smith. Saigon, 1966. I have learned so much since I came here. But one of the hardest things I've learned is, ironically, how to let go. If you've ever seen the terror of a man with one leg try to take his first step on the ground, or a man with one arm try to butter a piece of bread, it's all I can do to keep myself from doing everything for them. But I can't. They're going to have to learn sometime. Their wounds will not heal. Saigon, 1967. Every once in a while, the U.S. will send in celebrities to help cheer up the troops. Today, it is Miss Nancy Sinatra. She is wearing high-heeled boots, a tight little miniskirt, and heavy makeup as she collects down the ICU and bends at each bedside to kiss each cheek. But I guess the bloody stumps and men in comas were just too much for her, and she ran out crying, followed closely by her bodyguards. Now, I am really mad. If she couldn't handle it, she shouldn't have come. She comes in here, dressed to the hilt, chauffeured around in a sedan. And tomorrow, she'll get on a jet and head back to the U.S., where everyone will congratulate her on what a wonderful thing she did. I would like her to stay a year or two. I would like her to climb 6 flights of stairs each day and wash her hair in a trickle of water each night. I would like Miss Nancy Sinatra to walk through mud puddles in those boots, to wear that heavy makeup while sweating it out on a ward, and to parade around that tight little miniskirt without a private car and attendants to protect her. I would like her to see men come in dying from the fields with bloody, pussy wounds, and I would like her to see a man she's tried so hard to save die right before her eyes. I think then, if she still could, she might have reason to cry. Saigon, 1968. We had a huge rush on the hospital today. They brought in hundreds from the nearby village. Vietnamese, American. It was more than our staff could handle. One was this little Vietnamese girl. She couldn't have been more than 9 years old. She was completely naked and covered in blood, with shrapnel sticking through her skin. As I ran to get a damn towel to cover her, a doctor grabbed my arm. What are you bothering with her for? She's a patient. Let her die. She's probably throwing a grenade at one of our guys when she got shot. My God, she's just a little girl. She's a gook. Listen to me. You bust your ass to save her life, and you'll be paying for it with one of our soldiers. Listen, you spend your time babysitting, and this place will fall apart. I knew he was right. My responsibility was to the soldiers. We have a man here who's paralyzed from the eyes down. He can blink, shift his gaze, and cry. But there is no hope of him doing anything more than that. How long can he live like that? 10 years? 20 years? And what kind of a God would permit something like that? the other nurses and I. We cut out a cardboard alphabet for him, so he can point to letters and he can blink out messages to us, with more than just a yes or no. The other night, he blinked out the message to me. L-E-T-M-E-D-I-E. Let me die. God, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I just want to go home. North Carolina, 1973. It's been 3 years since I've been back home. I still don't feel like I belong here. I spend my days walking through the woods, and my nights getting drunk, alone, at my kitchen table. Controversy rages in America over war. It's the warmongers against the peaceniks. And who's caught in the middle? The returning soldiers. Everyone is too busy picking sides to pay much attention to us, the ones who were there. There's so many things that are hard to adjust to. I work at the hospital, and the other day, they brought in this 19-year-old traumatic amputee from a motorcycle crash. The entire staff showered him with pity. Me? I couldn't feel sorry for him. I mean, it was only one leg, and below the knee at that. That is nothing. That is nothing compared to what boys younger than him are losing every day in Vietnam. But I didn't see that. Nobody knew that. But me. I tried to leave the past behind. I tried to live one day at a time. But I don't even know what that means. I don't know if I am ever going to be okay again. Canyon of Heroes, Manhattan, 1985. I am here today for the dedication of the Vietnam War Memorial and the parade for the Vietnam vets the following day. It's been 10 years since the war has ended, and we're finally getting our parade. My father's here with me today. A war veteran himself, he understands. Like my mother, who died in a war so long ago, could affect me as much as it has. But my father, he assures me time and time again that I'm a good person, and I'm strong, and I'm going to be okay. I didn't realize until this moment how much I craved recognition. The air is filled with Vietnam era music. The Beatles, the Doors, the Who, and then fireworks. A few years ago, I would have cowered at the sound of fireworks. But not today. I feel my father put his hand in mine. I smile. Maybe I am, and maybe we all are, going to be okay.
Our next performer is Mr. Hunter Clark. Hunter is a novice this year. He's a sophomore, as his first year in forensics. He's had a lot of fun doing a duet for us this year, but he has qualified this oration that he will be taking to stage. Wait for my
Sorry I was late. Our bus got a flat tire on our way here, and it took us over an hour to get it changed. And then when we got here, what was I doing? I was watching my friend in the IDA room, and he fell and broke his leg. So I had to deal with that before I came here. Ever since the beginning of time, or ever since Cain fibbed to God about murdering Abel, lying has been a common way to escape the truth. I believe that lying has become the norm in American society. Not just the norm, but expected and accepted. Today, I'll be taking a closer look at these untruths. I'll begin with why we lie and how to lie. Then, I'll look at the social, psychological, and physical effects of lying. And finally, I'll tell you how to catch a liar. Let's begin by looking at why we lie. Most people who lie do so for self-esteem reasons. It may seem that the person who is lying is trying to impress others. which maybe they are a little, but it's more along the lines of impressing their own being. A good example of this is Tiger Woods. In a recent public apology, he stated that he thought he deserved all the benefits that came with his fame. So, he lied. He lied to his wife. He lied to his family. He lied to all of those that worshipped him just to make himself feel better. Other ways we lie are to protect others, to get a deceptive gain on another individual, or as a joke. You know, your mom was so fat when she walked in front of the TV, I missed 3 TV shows. That's a lie. According to Robert Feldman of the University of Massachusetts, we find that as soon as people feel their self-esteem is threatened, they immediately begin to lie at higher levels. Even the U.S. government has been caught in lies. Government cover-ups have occurred in everything from domestic to foreign affairs. A great example of this is the Watergate scandal. Richard Nixon claimed he knew nothing about it, when in reality, he knew practically everything about it. The truth is, we lie easily, but we don't lie well, particularly when the truth can land us in hot water. Now, if you're going to lie, you need to learn how to do it effectively and not get caught. 3 ways of lying are contradicting the truth, telling part of the truth, and telling the truth unconvincingly. Contradicting the truth is the first way of lying we learn, mainly because it's the easiest and what we learned growing up as kids. But you still need to be convincing. Let's say Bob is chasing his pet goat through the living room and oops, happens to knock over Mom's favorite flower vase in the process. Mom eventually sees the broken vase and asks Bob who did it. Bob immediately says, "Jessica did it." Bob's just shifting the blame away from himself, and that doesn't make a convincing lie. Now, a step up from this would be telling part of the truth, and Bob can have an okay lie. Let's say Mom asks Bob the question again, and Bob says, "Oh, gee, Mom, the goat broke it when it ran through the living room." See, now Bob is shifting the blame to a helpless creature that cannot defend itself. Once Bob has mastered this step, he's ready to lie about just about anything. And we do. We learn from an early age that lying is okay. We learn the importance, and we master the performance. Now, let's move on and look at the social, psychological, and physical effects of lying. Some people believe that the gender you are affects how much you lie, but that isn't necessarily the case. According to Why We Lie by Robin Lloyd, men lie no more than women. However, what they lie about is different. When men lie, they do it to make themselves look and feel better, whereas when women lie, do it so they don't hurt another person's feelings. Also, the type of personality you have may affect how much you lie. An extrovert is prone to lying more than an introvert. An extrovert has a "hey, look at me" personality, so they're constantly feeling the need to make themselves look and feel superior. Whereas the introvert does not have that personality, so they do not feel the need to lie as much. In a relationship, trust and intimacy are the key foundations. Without these, you have an unstable and likely to fail relationship. This concept also applies to society. Imagine if everyone lied and no one told the truth. The world would be more corrupt and constantly in turmoil. Second, in the psychological realm, when lying, more harm than good is being done. Let's say Jack arrives late to work one morning. His boss eventually hears of it, calls Jack into his office, and asks Jack, "Why were you late?" And Jack says, "Sorry, boss, I was going to bring you a pan of brownies this morning. But when I got out of the taxi, a man on a bicycle hit me, and it took me a while to get my suit cleaned off." See? Jack just lied when really he overslept. Pretty soon, Jack starts telling more lies, more lies, more lies, becomes a compulsive liar. Then, a little later down the road, he starts believing the lies he's telling people, and now Jack has a psychological lying disorder. Third, your body is physically affected by lying. According to researchers at the University of Texas Medical Branch, your gastrointestinal tract is highly affected by mental stress, as well as a faster heart rate. So, if you think about it, not all lying should be blamed, not all obesity should be blamed on fast food, but instead on lying. Because when some people are upset about lying, they eat, and eat, and eat some more. And finally, I'm going to tell you how to catch a liar. Can we really tell if someone is lying? Experts agree the answer is no, but society hasn't been so sure, which is probably why we've never ceased to grill up ways to sort the liars from non-liars. In ancient India, they'd send a dishonest suspect into a dark room and have them pull on the tail of a sacred donkey, which was supposed to bray if the person wasn't telling the truth. Well, that's what the suspects thought. What the investigators would do is actually dust the tail of the donkey with black powder, which see when the room is pitch black. Their reasoning, they figured the innocent person would pull the tail of the donkey without hesitation, whereas the guilty person would only pretend. So, whoever came out of the black room with black powder on their hands was probably telling the truth. Or, you could take a more scientific approach. According to Ron Kerr's article, How to Tell if Someone's Lying to You, you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. 1, why is this person lying to me? And 2, what is my involvement in this lie? Once you've assessed and answered these questions, you're ready to begin reading their actions. When a person is lying, they avoid making any eye contact with you. And if they are, they're probably looking at you with this bug-eyed, innocent look on their face like, I didn't do anything. Which is pretty obvious that they are lying. Also, look at their eye movement when they respond. Do their eyes move to the right? If so, that person is making something up. However, if their eyes move to the left, they're remembering a truthful event that took place. When a person is stressed, aka lying, they can be doing a series of rapid movements. So they could be scratching or itching, fidgeting, or touching the face. These are known as emotional gestures. Poker players are pretty good at detecting these telltale signs. Modern day lie detectors are pretty sophisticated, but they have the same flaw all the other ancient methods did. They all assume that the liar, out of guilt or fear of discovery, will have some kind of involuntary physical response. According to William G. Hunley, a defense lawyer, there is no scientific nor medical evidence that proves you get a faster heart rate or you perspire more freely. However, if you're ever hooked up to a lie detector, you may want to know how to pass it. There are 3 ways to pass a lie detector. 1, roll your toes. 2, press your feet flat against the floor. Or 3, if you're lucky enough, you can slip a tack in there right underneath your big toe and then press your big toe against it. I recommend the first 2. That last one sounds a little bit painful. What you do with these techniques is you do them during the innocent questions. These will spike your innocent questions graph to the same level as your guilty questions graph. This will make you appear innocent or invalidate results. In conclusion, I have told you why we lie and how to lie, the social, psychological, and physical effects of lying, and how to catch the liar like me in the act. It's astonishing that lying has become a normal part of American society. Now, I'm going to have to make brownies for this lovely audience, and by the way, I really love the outfits you're wearing.
Next performer is Emily Rankin. Emily is a senior this year, and this is her 3rd year for qualifying for state. She has qualified for pros that you will be hearing.
Painful memories can cause one to make changes in their life. In the following selection, Minerva Prey remembers her past and the events that made her leave her home. It is taken from the novel American Pie by Michael Lee West. How did I ever leave Texas? I'll tell you why. My heart was broke, and I thought a change of scene might turn my luck around. They say a person should never make hard or fast decisions while they're in a grief state. After Freddie went to medical school, she explained it to me. It's fight or flight, she said. It's the doctor's reaction to stress. And that made sense to me. Long ago, all the fight had gone out of me. It's nobody's wonder that I was left with a flighty. Took a long time to wear me down, though. I started out as a feisty woman. Me and Hattie married the Prey brothers in a double ceremony. And my first child came in 1934, the 10th of January. And the doctor said, "You baby is stuck in the birth canal." I sat up in bed, looked him square in the eye. Say again? It seemed to me that the doctor was all wrong. My body wasn't no canal. No. My baby was like that tiny ships in a bottle. Lord knows how it got there, but it was trapped for all time unless you broke the glass. Amos Jr. was born and I said to myself, one child is surely enough. Then, late in the summer of 1937, I skipped my woman's time. And Amos
said he was ready to have a whole slew of kids. My baby girl came real easy. I named her Josephine because I read it in the San Antonio Society pages. Turned out, she was stone deaf. Smart. I knowed my Josie was smart. But how can you behave when you can't hear your mama's voice? Or the sound of a rattlesnake or thunder? You don't see danger till it slaps you upside the head. You could cry out her name till you was hoarse, and she never knew. During them hard Depression years, we made do. Burl and Hattie moved to the ranch. They wasn't blessed with children, but we still had high hopes. And then, spring arrived, bringing with it a stream of warmish, dirty air, and my babies came down with high fevers. The doctor called it scarlatina, said it was making the rounds, said there was nothing to do but wait out. On the 11th day, Josie was almost well, and the baby's fever had broke. But Amos Jr. was still hot and flushed, too weak to climb out of his bed. He had asked me for a spoonful of ice, and of course, there was none to be had. I would have sold my soul to get my baby some ice. Burl hitched up the wagon and rode into town to the ice house. While he was gone, little Amos started jerking all over, his teeth locked, and his eyes were back inside of his head. And then he was still. Burl showed up with the ice. It was too late. While Hattie prepared Amos Jr.'s body for the funeral, I laid me down on the bed and cried. I will not get over this, I thought. I can't get past this heartbreak. People stopped by and told me that if I needed anything, just let them know. I wanted to shake them and cry, what I need is little Amos. You give my boy back to me. But it wasn't their fault. The real shame was mine. Now, despite my grief, a little bit of the world had opened up, showing me some hard secrets. After a longish time, I got up off my bed, pinned up my hair, and went out to greet the mourners. The screen door had been opened and closed 1,000 times. When nobody was looking, Josie wandered out of the house. By the time we spotted her, she was standing in a Mr. Van Hooger's pasture, where the old bull had broke loose from the fencing. He was sunning himself, twirling his tail, switching black flies from his back. Josie knelt to pick through bonnets, and Amos clapped his hands. Josie, he hollered. She never looked up. He clapped again, and a covey of bobwhites tore out of the bush. Amos and the bull took off running for Josie at the same time. I screamed out her name, Josie! 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 But it wasn't no use. She was knocked up into the sky, her arms thrown out, her white nightgown billowing. When Amos started out to gather her up, the bull tried to run him down too. I tried to help, but the woman grabbed my arms and said, no, Minerva. Burl reached out to grab me. But I sank to one knee. The Lord was not supposed to send more trouble than you can stand. But he must have not been paying attention. Amos dove under the fence and scooped up Josie. I broke loose from the women and ran. Blood was streaming from Josie's nose and ears. I wiped it away with the hem of my dress, but it came right back. We got into the house and laid her on the bed. The neighbors flooded around us, bringing washcloths and pans of water. Someone rode into town for the doctor. Open your eyes, Josie, I said. And Amos put his hand on my shoulder. By the time the doctor got there, she stopped breathing. But her heart kept on beating. I could hear it flutter around the room like a trapped bird, and I thought maybe it was her soul, trying to find a way out. And there was nothing left to do but open the door and set it free. I lost my faith. The Lord
vengeful, taking away my babies. And I was through worshiping him. But I wasn't the only one with a hurt soul. Down at Liberty Bank, Amos heard about a sorghum mill in Tennessee that was hiring. He asked me if I thought I could stand to leave Mount Olive. Yes, I thought. Yes, I could stand to leave it. As long as it wasn't forever. As long as Hattie was keeping watch at the graveyard. As long as we knew the way home.
Performer is Danae Line. Danae is a sophomore, and this is the second year that she's qualified for state. In fact, she is the current 2A state champion in oration. She has both her oration and her inform qualified for state, and a series solo. She will be performing her informity for you tonight.
Approach the mailbox, hoping to get some good news. You are expecting your tax return sometime soon. You open it up, pull out the newly arrived envelopes, and as you flip through them, you see the usual. Thank you card, water bill, junk mail. Nothing out of the ordinary. Except, hey, your subscription to Entertainment Weekly. Yes! But just as you flip to the last envelope, you can hardly believe your eyes. No! Anything but that! You have just been called for jury duty. No! Jury duty is an essential aspect of our judicial system. It is our forefathers' way of giving the people peaceful control in the government. John Adams considered juries the heart and lungs of liberty. According to Stephen Brill, author of Trial by Jury, nearly 200,000 jury trials are conducted in U.S. state and federal courts every single year, meaning 1,860,000 jurors serve on panel. But despite the importance of juries, Matt Fullenbaum of the American Tort Reform Association claims that in some jurisdictions, 50% of the individuals called to serve on jury don't show up at all. Jury duty is skipped for various reasons. But one of the most common is the anxiety of missing work. Skipping your duty may fix your initial problem, but can introduce several others. Just so you know, Douglas Maupin of McKinney, Texas, spent 83 days in jail for shirking his jury duty. Don't risk incarceration. Rather, know the facts. There is actually somewhat of a science behind how the jury system works. Today I'll begin by explaining how lawyers choose jurors. Then, I'll share different tactics to try to legally get out of jury duty. And finally, if you do end up on panel, I'll explain why it's not necessarily the end of the world. Oh, and I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Let's begin by looking at how lawyers choose jurors. After arriving at the courthouse and filling out a short questionnaire, the voir dire process begins, with the judge asking jurors questions on their marital status and past jury experience. Then it's the lawyer's turn. Most lawyers feel how well they choose jurors affects their entire case. Dr. Sunwolf, longtime attorney, even goes so far to say that after jury selection, effectively, the trial may already be over. In major cases, lawyers will conduct community surveys to find out which profile category is best in their favor. For example, in the O.J. Simpson case, survey said black female were most sympathetic for Simpson. Of Simpson's 12 jurors, 8 were black female. In lower profile cases, however, lawyers depend upon questions. Questions can include, have you or any member of your family ever been victim of a crime? Or, have you ever talked yourself out of a speeding ticket? But can also include, do you prefer paper or plastic? Besides questions, lawyers will also look at your age, your gender, what you wear to the courthouse, your smile, even your eyes. They are trying to better understand who you are as a person. Depending upon the crime committed, different jurors will be chosen for panel. But just know, most lawyers in most cases, are looking for jurors who can be easily persuaded. With that in mind, let's move on to how you may be able to legally avoid jury duty. The law states that the court can only release individuals from jury duty if they are physically unable to serve, already served this year, are in danger of injury, are out of the county, can't return for the trial, are dealing with the death or illness of a close relative, or they are Amish. Well, unless you drive a horse and buggy, I doubt most of these will apply to you. So the court may not be able to excuse you, but the lawyers can. Like previously stated, lawyers want gullible jurors. So what you must do is prove that you are not. Knowing or being related to law enforcement or other lawyers can almost always get you out. Also, wearing political clothing, as in a shirt that proclaims the right to bear arms, shows the lawyers that you already have a predetermined mindset, aka undesirable. Also, lawyers don't want know-it-all jurors, so educating yourself on jury rights and the whole jury process makes you that much more undesirable. You try your best, you still end up on panel. Finally, let me explain why this is not necessarily a bad thing. You will survive, and there can be a few advantages. First of all, you can ask to postpone your jury duty up to a year to a more convenient time for you. Secondly, by law, your boss must excuse you from work, meaning you can't be fired for serving on jury. Will you get a paid leave, especially if you're on an hourly salary? It's unlikely, but it does vary amongst businesses. Plus, you are compensated for your time. I know, $10 a day, not enough for those missing work. But the American Tort Reform Association is working on increasing that number to $300 a day in trials that go over 5 days long. And who knows, maybe you're fortunate enough and the trial's actually amusing. Try to sit back, enjoy the day. According to the book Disorder in American Courts, actual jurors have been seen giggling after hearing, "Doctor, how many autopsies have you performed on dead people?" All of them? The live ones put up too much of a fight. Lastly, jury duty can be very educational. Seeing firsthand how our judicial system works can not only help you understand all those lawyer jokes, but more than that, it can educate you on your rights as a citizen, show you the importance of seeing both sides of an issue, and help you appreciate the rights our forefathers fought to guarantee. And most jurors, when asked about their duty, said they felt good about choosing to do the right thing and actually showing up. Jury trials are a vital part of our government, and there's indeed a science behind how the system works. So don't ignore your call, end up in prison. Rather, show up, do your best to get on it, or off it maybe. But just remember, it's not every day that you get to be an active part of our government. You could even bring along your entertainment weekly if there's any extra time to kill. So there's no need to fear jury duty or your mailbox. Thank you.
All right, next performer is Mr. Charlie Lynn. Charlie is a senior this year. This is his third year for qualifying for state. He was also a national qualifier last year. He has qualified 2 events for state, and you will get to see his pros this evening.
Almost everyone knows the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. In the following selection, author Mike Thaler puts a different spin on things in Schmo White and the Seven Dwarfs by Mike Thaler. Once upon a time, about 215, there was a lovely girl named Schmo White, and she lived with her evil, rotten stepmother, the Wicked Queen. The Wicked Queen was very vain. She spent every morning putting on her face false eyelashes, false eyebrows, false lips, fake nails, and a real wig. At noon she would gaze up at her mirror and say, "Mirror, mirror on the ceiling, which lady is the most appealing?" One day the mirror replied, "Even though you're out of sight, the prettiest lady is Schmo Schmo White and the Mears never lie. The Wicked Queen flew into such a rage that her false eyelashes fell off. She called for her huntsman, Hugh. Hugh, I have a job for you. Okie dokie, said the huntsman, who was paid by the hour. I want you to take Schmo White into the woods and cut. Why? Was she late for school again? Just do it! Screamed the Wicked Queen, poking him with a press-on fingernail. So Hugh took Schmo into the woods, but he didn't have the heart to kill her. He just took away her compass and trail mix and left her alone. I'm lost, said Schmo, and she was about to cry when she heard lively music. She followed the beat until she came to a cottage. Peeking in the window, she saw 7 little dudes playing rock and roll. So she waited for their break and went in. I'm Schmo White, she said. Hi, I'm Nerdy, said one of the little dudes. Yes, but what's your name? I'm Nerdy. I can see that, but what's your name? Nerdy just rolled his eyes and pointed to the others. This is Grouchy on bass, Funky on vibes, Smiley on washboard, Wheezy on kazoo, Drowsy on cymbals, and Hip on drums. We're the 7 Dwarfs. Perhaps you've heard of us? No, do you need a lead singer? Hey! That's exactly what we're missing! Said Nerdy, who was the brains of the outfit. We'll call ourselves Schmo White and the 7 Dwarfs. Hey! Why do you get top billing? Asked Grouchy. Because if it weren't for me, you wouldn't be in this story, replied Schmo. So, the group began to play small gigs around the forest. They played the bunny hop, the owl hoot, the turkey trot, and yes, the beaver ball. Meanwhile, back at the castle, the Wicked Queen was gluing on her 7-foot eyelashes. When she finished, she looked down at her mirror. Mirror, mirror on the floor. What girl's got a whole lot more? The mirror replied, well, old queen, you're out of sight, but the prettiest is still Schmo White. The Wicked Queen flew into a rage, called Hugh, her huntsman, and took away all of his merit badges. One thing's done right, you gotta do them yourself, snarled the queen. So she brewed up a batch of her deadliest poison, dipped a lipstick into it, combed a wig over her face, and hurried off to the dwarf's cottage. She rapped on the door. Who's there? Asked Schmo. The Raven lady. I don't wear makeup, said Schmo, opening the door. But we're having a special lipstick, insisted the queen. It's called Pass Out Pink. Try a free sample. Well, okay, said Schmo, who didn't want to hurt the Raven lady's feelings, so she put on some lipstick. Enjoy. Cackled the queen, and she ran off into the forest. Schmo waved goodbye and fell down. Schmo's fainted, said Nerdy, when the dwarfs came home. She's resting, said Drowsy. She's cleaning the floor, said Funky. Maybe she's looking for a contact lens, said Smiley. She must have let's out! Allergies, said Wheezy. She's blocking the doorway, said Grouchy. She's dead, said Hip. 7 dwarfs began to cry into their beards, and just then a handsome prince knocked on the door. We just lost our lead vocalist, said Nerdy. Well, I sing a little, said the prince. What's your name? Prince. We could be Prince and the 7 dwarfs. What should we do about Schmo White? Asked Nerdy. Well, I'll kiss her and she'll probably wake up. So he did, and she woke up, but then the prince died. Who's he? Why is he wearing pink lipstick? He's a prince, and I think he's wearing drop-dead red, said Nerdy. Well, I'll kiss him and he'll probably wake up. So she did, and he woke up, but then she died again. And so he kissed her, and she woke up, but then he died again. This went on for so long that both of them gave up their singing careers. Oh, and the 7 dwarfs, they eventually broke up too, and they tried to start a baseball team, but They were all shortstops. Oh, and the Wicked Queen? Yes. She entered the Miss New Jersey beauty pageant and placed second. Her mirror placed first.
Performance tonight. We'll be doing a duet for you. This is Caleb Kendall, who you've already met, and this is Kendall Perry. And yes, it's been a long year with Caleb Kendall and Kendall Perry. Anyway, Kendall is my 4-year senior. She's been with me 4 years. She's also qualified for state 4 years. As a sophomore, she was the pro state champion. Last year, she and Caleb qualified for nationals, and they were quarterfinalists at the national tournament in Albany, New York. This year, Kendall has 3 events qualified for state, almost 4. There are two humorous solos, 2 different pieces in that respect. This piece right here, because she at state, you can only take 2 events, and they qualify throughout the year at invitational tournaments. As a coach, I can only take 16 events, so I pick and choose which ones I think will do the best at state for our team. And we have decided to take this duet as one of our 16 events. So enjoy. And when we're all done, the Ottawa County Music Club is sponsoring ice cream out in the hallway. So you can help yourselves to ice cream on your way out. Wait for my cue.
Presenting,
For the first time anywhere.
unless you've seen it before,
Perhaps experienced it yourself.
the complete, untouched, unabridged, and shrink-wrapped
Stupendous, remarkable land. Totally awesome.
history of man. Ta-da!
We will begin our journey at birth and travel through this long and terrifying trek to the ancient age of...
16!
Wow! Everyone faces trials as they grow up.
The trauma and excitement is nothing new, especially when you're dealing with parents.
In the following selection, 2 slapstick storytellers waltz their way through the life of a typical young boy.
In He's a Good Kid by Ken Bradbury. One day, his parents fall in love. They marry.
Da 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 da.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you?
I do.
Me too.
Great.
Woo! They build a house.
That's all I could afford.
Some house.
And then, less than a year later...
I'm pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's time.
What, already?
You argue with me, we're gonna have this baby right here.
So his father paces back and forth.
Ah!
His father's really worried. His father's a nervous wreck.
Meanwhile, his mother does all the work.
Oh, look at him. He's so cute.
Actually, he's wet, wrinkled, and ugly.
Well, aunts and uncles think he's adorable.
They lie, but hey, that's what friends are for.
They take him home and he becomes a part of their happy little family. He's gonna be such a good kid.
After a while, he dries off. His wrinkles go away, and he becomes much cuter. And soon it's time for Mama's little boy's first steps. Come on, here we go. Oh, definitely his father's child. But soon enough, he's walking on his own, talking on his own,
I hate green
and
beans.
becoming a regular little man.
I'm so cool.
Soon enough, it's time for Junior's first day of school.
Really? Seems like I was just born.
All right, Nash. I'd like to welcome everyone to their first day of school. Junior, have a seat behind Judith.
Aw, do I have to?
Are we going to argue with Mrs. Walker?
I don't know. Are we?
No! Now, I expect everyone to be able to tie their shoes, write their name, go to the bathroom by themselves, and do a simple computer program listing the various atomic size, position, and mass of all the known galaxies.
Did I miss something?
Junior didn't learn as much as his teacher would have liked. He didn't learn as much as his parents would have wanted. But Junior learned.
Hey, look at that, babe.
He learned very, very fast.
Hey, you want to go to the dance with me?
I don't know, Junior. I barely know you.
What's to know? I'm cool.
Okay, let's go.
But Junior's parents began to get very worried about Junior.
I'm so worried.
He's a good kid, but he started to get grouchy with them.
He actually began to disagree with them.
Me, his father, his
You know,
hero,
sometimes
his pal.
every once in a
I'm
while-
his best
Ancient
buddy.
history, Dad.
Son, I think it's time we had a talk.
Geez, Dad, again?
Junior, I don't appreciate your attitude.
What attitude?
That attitude. Do you see how you're talking to me?
Is this gonna take long, Dad?
You'll take as long as I want it to take.
Junior, your father and I are very disappointed in you.
Yeah, I can tell. Every time that you say father instead of dad, I know it ain't good.
Little boy, such a good kid.
Keep it down. You want somebody to hear?
What is wrong with you?
It's my hormones. They make
Oh.
me rebellious. Hormones, I'll give you hormones.
I think you already did that, Dad. That's what Mom said.
This wasn't going very well.
Adolescence was taking a toll on the entire family.
Junior aged another 2 years.
His parents aged another 10.
Hey, Mom, I'm going to go out and take the car.
Go ask your father.
Okay.
Wait a minute, you're only 14.
Oh. Well, I thought it was worth a try.
Dear, what are we going to do about Junior's college plans?
College? You think they give degrees in what he's good at?
Maybe it's just a phase he's going through.
Yeah, he keeps going and going and going.
We had big plans for Junior. He was going to be a doctor or a scientist or
Hey,
something.
Mom, I'm going to go out and shoot some hoops.
What about your homework?
Mom, there are so many basketballs and so little time. Give me a break, will ya?
And then Junior turned 15 and the rumblings began. An adolescent volcano.
Car, I need a car.
Louder.
Car, I gotta have a car.
All right, class. We're going to have a short review before we begin. What is the capital of Bolivia? Junior?
Firebird.
What?
No, Camaro.
Junior?
Wait a minute, what's the question again?
Is this Junior's father?
That depends. What do you do this time?
It is what he didn't do. Your son can think of nothing but basketball and girlfriends and cars.
Cool.
What?
No, I mean, that's absolutely terrible.
Oh, no, there is nothing a teacher can do to help a student without their parents' support.
That's exactly what my teachers told my parents.
Who was that on the phone?
Oh, it was Junior's teacher. Apparently he's got a problem in school.
What are we gonna do?
We did everything for him.
What is there to do?
He's a good kid.
Where did we go wrong?
Hey, Mom, guess what? I turn 16 tomorrow.
Did we fail him
Going
somehow?
16 car time.
Junior, wake up, it's your birthday.
Oh, what a beautiful morning.
Here's your cake.
Thanks, Mom. Say, let's go get my license now.
But it's Sunday, Junior, all the offices are closed. The history of man.
The agony ecstasy.
The history of man.
Complete and
The
terrifying.
end of an era.
But tomorrow, life begins. Okay, Mom, it's Monday. Let's go get my license.
All right.
Mom, did Dad ever tell you you're the best mother ever?
He's growing up. He's driving me crazy. He's a good kid.